Hey guys, so today is the last Dopey training update before I actually do the Dopey in a couple of weeks. But first, let me just get something out of the way. Actually, just a few hours ago, I received my Christmas present. That is like a couple of more small metal hangers, so I can like properly showcase, I guess, all of my medals without being some on top of the others. Trying to do this really quickly. So this is like the brand, and I bought it on Amazon. It was not really expensive, I think. So here I got two like this. So they're basically just like a very simple version of the one I own. So I can put them like on the sides, and that still be like on the middle with my raised bips and everything. So I'm gonna have like three different ones, and I'm gonna put like on one side like my Disney medals. I'm gonna put my 5K and 10Ks in the other one. I'm gonna leave a special place for my new Dopey medals that I will get sometime this year, and also I'm supposed to get like at least 10 more medals this year, 10 more marathons and half marathons. So I really need a space because this is like completely full. But yeah, I want to get that out of the way. So yeah, marathon update, well, Dopey update. This video will really be about injuries and things that have happened because the last few weeks didn't go just as planned. So yeah, sometimes injuries happen. It's pretty common, especially if you don't train properly or you don't stretch and do like the recovery process as you should. So if you get older, it's easier to get injured. And I mostly don't get injured. I felt some things, but I've been okay. But in this Dopey training, I've had a few things happen to me. So I think I mentioned a few weeks ago, like a month and a half ago, I got like a really mild like groin strain, I think it's called. And I missed a little bit of my training. I pushed my runs as far as I could, but it really took me like a week. I think it's the week that I ran the least of all, like 30 something K. But yeah, it didn't present again after that. I just rested, and that's all it took. But then I told you on my last update that I felt something on my foot on my 36K, on my last long run, and apparently it turned out to be like tendonitis. So that's basically when like the tendons get swollen. I don't know if that's the right word, but so yeah, at first I thought it was like the shoe that was bothering me, but then after it lasted a couple of days, I thought it was something more, and I did a little bit of research. But then I took some anti-inflammatory pills, and I iced it like every day, a few times a day, and it got better. I also pushed my runs a little bit, but I didn't miss anything except for like a 6K, a really easy 6K that I had to do. But yeah, and it kind of worked with the things I took and the icing. Like a week later, I was okay. I didn't feel it at all, like from Monday to Monday. And I thought that was it. So I was just gonna tell you about all the other things that happened, and that my long run today was perfect, but I actually felt it today again. And I guess it's going to come back, so I'm gonna have to keep nursing it all the way until after the Dopey challenge. That is just, it starts in 2 weeks exactly from today. But yeah, so I guess that's it. But yeah, other things happened. So since I got that injury, I got better, and my training continued perfectly, just 2 weeks. And then I had my last set of back-to-backs. It was a 19.2K and then a 38K. That was going to be like my biggest long run, obviously, just 3 weeks before the Dopey marathon at the end of the Dopey challenge. So yeah, I have been feeling okay. I was like worried a little bit about my foot, but it seemed to be okay. But then the night before my 19K, I had some stuff on the floor that I actually that day I tried to move them so they weren't like on the way. But still, I had to look the word for a second. But I tripped with some stuff that I had left on the floor, and I fell. I couldn't even put my hands to stop my fall. But I kind of fell down, so it was not horrible, and I was like not even like walking anywhere. So like I fell, I hit my knee, I hit the top of my left foot, and kind of hurt a lot. I scraped my knee, and I couldn't put that knee down for like a couple of days, at least 2-3 days. The bump in my foot was okay, but I didn't even notice. After a little while, after I was icing my knee, I noticed that my little toenail on my left foot was like bleeding. So I hit it at some point, but it didn't hurt. Like it didn't hurt at all. I just, you know, cleaned it up, and it didn't hurt me. And it was just a bump and a scraped knee, so there was no problem for me to run the next day. So I had my 19K. It went really well, and that crisis was averted. But that day after my 19K, I started feeling like not really well, and I got sick, and I couldn't eat all day, and I had like a 38K the next day. So even though I was like hydrating all the time, like I was hoping that I was gonna feel okay later that day or the next morning to be able to run my last long run, because it's an important one. So after all day, like at night I was hoping to feel better the next day, but I couldn't even sleep because I was so hungry after not eating all day. And yeah, it was like midnight, and I had to wake up at 6 the next day to do a 38K, and it didn't make sense for me to do it. I didn't know if I was gonna feel okay the next day, or even if I kinda did. What if like the gels during running affected me in some way, or whatever, you know? You can't do a 30K after not eating the day before. So I had to not do it. I did feel better the next day, and I actually moved all my training, so I ran that evening instead of that morning, just like an 8K. The rest of my training was okay. But yeah, so I couldn't do the 38K. And my first, I was trying to see how I was going to replace it and stuff to make up for it. And I thought of doing it. The next possible day was Thursday, which is actually today. But yeah, I thought it was too close to the race. Also, just a video released that day about what not to do on tapering. And yeah, so I thought there was a really not such a great idea to do a 38K so close to the Dopey challenge. I did a little research of what to do, what not to do. I read that if you are going to, like, if you miss a training, it doesn't matter. If you miss a long run, it doesn't really matter. But if it was really an important one, so I didn't want to just skip it. So I saw that you can, like, because the long run is the most important run when you're training for a marathon or a long distance race. Basically, you can like not do your speed run that week, your intervals or your tempo or whatever, and do the long run instead. So I thought of doing that, but I didn't really want to do that because I had like one last speed run. I don't know if that's the word, also I forgot. So I also read that whenever you do at least 18K during a training, you're supposedly already able to do a marathon if you do at least 18 miles, which are like almost 29K. So at the end I decided to, as I said, I pushed my training a little bit, and I decided to do 28K on Thursday. That was today. That is almost 18 miles, 28K, which I thought was a good distance. I don't know, I just liked it. It's almost 18 miles, as I just said. So yeah, and I didn't need to miss any training, kinda. The last week with my 2 long runs was going to be like the biggest training week of my program with 90K. And I think it was going to be like the biggest training week I've had. except for that 100k week that I had a few months ago, but I did that on purpose. There was really no goal, just to do 100k. So it's gonna be a 90k, and this one with all the changes was going to be an 84k, but I decided to keep it at 80. Still have a few runs for the rest of the week, but yeah, so this is going to be an 80k, and that's it. Like, I think it's still a good amount of training. I still think I'm going to have enough rest for the Dopey, because in 2 weeks I only have the 5k, and I'm gonna take it easy for the 5k, 10k, and kind of half to try to do my best for the full marathon. So yeah, I already did my last strength, or at least my last heavy strength training. I have like one more speed run to go in a couple of days. So yeah, that's it. So this is my Dopey training. All the gray ones are the ones that I've already done. And yeah, so I'm on this week, almost done with this week. I only have really like a taper week, which is having 2 or maybe 3. You're gonna take it really easy on my last run before actually doing the Dopey on the 14th of January. So yeah, that's it. You know, sometimes things happen that affect your training, but you have to just, you know, get over it. Hopefully, if something happens, it's early in the training, so you can just maybe take a month off if it's necessary. You get really injured and just keep going with the training, but when it's so close to the race, it's really hard to make up for it. So yeah, that was the last update. I'm gonna have, I think I'm gonna do like a goals video next video, I think, and then my pre-Dopey video, and then a couple more Dopey videos. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and run.